Women often carry themselves like they've got everything on lock. They walk with confidence, speak with purpose, and act like no man could ever throw them off balance. But beneath that composed exterior, every woman, yes, every woman, has soft spots. Hidden triggers that, when pressed by the right kind of man, make all that control start to slip. And no, we're not talking about cliches like flashy cars or smooth pickup lines. We're talking about deeper, almost invisible switches embedded in the female psyche. The kind most guys don't even realize exist. Because real attraction? It's not built on money or muscles. It's built on psychology. And once you tap into that, she won't just want to be around you, she'll feel like she has to be. 1. A man's touch is a secret weapon. Here's something most guys never figure out. A woman can block out words, shrug off charm, even ignore good looks. But the moment a man touches her the right way, everything changes. Attraction goes way deeper than conversation. It's wired into biology. Even the most headstrong, self-reliant woman can start to unravel when a man understands how to use touch. Not forcefully, but intentionally. There's science behind this too. Research in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships shows that touch boosts oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which makes her feel connected, secure, and yes, turned on. That's why a woman might be unsure about a guy, until he places his hand gently on her lower back as they walk through a doorway. That subtle moment? It bypasses her brain and hits her emotions straight on. A feather-light touch on her wrist, the back of her knee, or just a soft brush on her shoulder. It creates a quiet storm of emotion she wasn't expecting. But here's the catch. It's not about constantly touching her. It's about being deliberate, measured, and confident. That infrequent, almost teasing kind of touch builds attention that hooks her. She starts associating your presence with calm strength, quiet dominance, and physical awareness. Picture the classic bad boy archetype. He doesn't just sit still across from her. He leans in slightly when he talks. He runs his fingers through her hair mid-conversation, like it's the most natural thing in the world. He connects not just with words, but with presence. And before she realizes it, she's not just hearing him. She's feeling him. She may still tell herself she's in control. But if a man knows how to use touch with subtlety and confidence, he's already slipping past her defenses. 2. The command presence effect. Women might say they're looking for a partner who's their equal, but biologically, they're wired to respond to leadership. Not a tyrant. Not someone who tries to dominate her life. But a man who moves with certainty and makes decisions like he means it. Attraction isn't just in the heart, it's in the instincts. And nothing flips that primal switch faster than a man who leads with quiet confidence. That's why so many women are drawn to dominant energy. It's why they test guys with little challenges, to see if he holds his frame or folds under pressure. And the second he starts chasing approval, her interest begins to fade. A man with presence doesn't constantly ask, "So, what do you want to do?" He moves with clarity. "Let's go here. Try this." No hesitation. No second guessing. That kind of energy hits different. On the flip side, the guys who always seek reassurance, who can't make a move without her green light, they come across as nice, but uninspiring. They don't ignite attraction on a deeper level. A woman picks up on a man's uncertainty fast, and once she feels it, she starts drifting. But the guy who moves with boldness, she doesn't just notice him, she trusts him, respects him, and eventually wants him. 3. The forbidden pull. There's one attraction rule that never fails. Women are drawn to what's just beyond reach. That's why the guy who gives her the world gets ignored, while the one who leaves her wondering. He's the one she can't stop thinking about. That's why her interest spikes when she sees another woman looking his way. It's the same reason she chases the man who doesn't chase her back. That mystery, that tension, it's magnetic. Psychologist Robert Cialdini calls it the scarcity principle. The rarer something feels, the more we want it. And when it comes to attraction, that principle hits hard. When a man is always available, she stops appreciating him. But when he's just a little unpredictable, she starts craving his time. If there's even a chance she might lose him, she clings tighter. A man who constantly chases her sends a message: he's got nothing else going on. But a man who's focused on his own purpose, who's not always at her beck and call, that's the guy who earns her respect. When he's selective, when he treats her like she has to earn his attention instead of just handing it over, she starts proving her worth. And if he walks away without flinching, that's when she realizes his value, and suddenly he's everything she can't stop wanting. Absolutely. Here's a fully paraphrased and reimagined version of the script extract. It's still structured the same way, follows the same logic, but the language is fresher, more human and engaging, without expanding the content. For why chaos keeps her coming back. Most guys think women crave calm, consistency, and comfort. And while that might be true when they're thinking long-term in the moment, it's emotional waves that keep her heart racing. When a relationship gets too stable, too routine, she checks out emotionally. Boredom creeps in, and boredom is the enemy of desire. But the men who get how to spark emotional contrast, they never become background noise. Psychologists have found that dopamine, the chemical tied to pleasure and addiction, spikes the most when emotions swing up and down. That's why she feels drawn to men who are unpredictable. She won't always admit it, but the tension, the surprise, the not knowing, it excites her way more than a perfectly planned routine ever could. If a man is too steady, she tunes out. But if he keeps her guessing, laughing 1 minute, wondering what's next the next, she's locked in. He becomes the emotional high she keeps coming back for. Think about the guys who have women hooked. The one who vanishes for a day then returns like nothing happened. The one who challenges her while making her feel seen. The one whose moods aren't always easy to read. These men aren't manipulative, they just know that too much comfort kills chemistry. As seduction expert Robert Greene once said, presence and absence must be balanced. Always being there? Predictable. Never being there? Forgettable. But knowing how to swing between the two, that's how you stay unforgettable. Because here's the truth, her emotions drive her attraction far more than logic ever will. And if you can stir excitement, unpredictability, and emotional contrast, she won't be able to let go. 5. How a man's voice quietly takes over her mind. Her ears are more powerful than you think. The way a man speaks, his tone, his pace, his timing, it doesn't just land in her mind. It seeps into her body. A voice that's deep, measured, and calm doesn't just sound nice. It commands her attention. It signals strength, certainty, authority, and her subconscious responds without permission. Science backs this up. A study from the University of Aberdeen showed that women are naturally drawn to men with lower voices because it suggests confidence, leadership, and good genes. But it's not just about pitch. It's about delivery. Talk too fast? You sound anxious. Talk too slow? You sound unsure. But speak with intention, like every word is chosen, and she can't help but lean in. Think of those movie scenes where the guy says almost nothing, but the way he says it, she's completely locked in. That's the effect. The real trick. Knowing when not to speak. A perfectly placed pause before you answer can spark more desire than a whole speech. That moment of silence? It builds anticipation, and that's where the attraction lives. Because in the end, it's not just about what you say, it's about how you deliver it. 6. The jealousy trigger. A woman's desire isn't fueled by attraction alone, it's driven by competition. She might be into a guy, but the moment she sees other women eyeing him, that's when her interest skyrockets. At the core of female psychology is one simple truth: women chase value. And nothing screams value louder than a man who's wanted by many. That's why high-status men, celebrities, athletes, powerful leaders, never lack female attention. It's not just about who they are, it's about how many people want to be around them. That's social proof, and it's magnetic. A man who focuses all his energy on one woman may think he's proving loyalty. But to her it can look like desperation. Like he's got no options. And in her subconscious mind, no options means low value. But the man who's quietly admired by others? That's the guy who sticks in her mind. This isn't about playing dirty or acting shady. It's about understanding dynamics. If she feels like you're only chasing her, she assumes she's in control. But the second she senses another woman could take her place, she starts chasing you. Women aren't just drawn to great men, they crave men who other women would fight to have. The man who stays calm, confident, and subtly in demand, without flexing or begging for attention, always stays one step ahead. 7. The fantasy hook. Attraction goes way beyond looks. It's about the feeling a man plants in a woman's imagination. Women don't just fall for a guy, they fall for the story he allows them to build when he's not around. It's not about status, wealth, or even physical presence. The men who get stuck in women's minds are the ones who know how to spark curiosity. They leave space for her to wonder, to guess, to imagine. Why do women obsess over celebrities? Not because they know them, but because they don't. That distance, that mystery, that's what keeps their attention. And the truth is, any man can create the same effect. All it takes is understanding this. Don't give her the full picture right away. Most guys spill everything too soon. They answer every question, share every thought, explain every move. But mystery? That's where attraction lives. When a man keeps a little back, holds some thoughts close, stays playful, lets her figure him out over time, he becomes unforgettable. The real magic isn't in what you tell her. It's in what you leave unsaid. Let her mind wander and she'll keep coming back to figure you out. 8. The perfect pull of tension. Most guys move way too fast. They get ahead of themselves, pour their hearts out too soon, chase commitment before the spark even has time to grow, and in the process, kill the mystery. And nothing turns a woman off faster than a man who makes the chase too easy. Think about what makes a great movie. It's not the ending. It's the suspense, the anticipation, the slow burn that keeps you on edge. That's the same feeling that fuels her desire. She needs space to wonder, to question, to feel unsure. When everything's handed to her up front, when there's no uncertainty left, interest fades. That's why the men who know how to flirt with restraint, tease with intent, and hold just enough back, those are the ones who leave her hooked. They don't throw their affection at her feet, they let her earn it. And that subtle imbalance? That's what keeps her chasing. A man who's patient, who lets the tension simmer instead of trying to rush the moment, whether it's in words, touch, or the pace of the relationship, activates something deep inside her. A craving. Not for what's already hers, but for what almost is. And that is the feeling that keeps her coming back. 9. The emotional hit. She might say she wants a calm, stable, drama-free relationship. But here's the truth. If a man doesn't make her feel something real, something intense, she won't stick around. Women don't fall for logic. They fall for emotion. It's not the checklist that gets her, it's the rush, the thrill, the unpredictable wave of feelings that keeps her guessing. The reason roller coasters, thrill rides, and high-stakes games are addictive? Same principle. The high and low, the tension and release, the feeling. A nice, consistent, always there guy? She might like him. But he doesn't live in her mind. It's the man who teases, then retreats, who challenges her, then softens, who keeps her emotions bouncing from curiosity to desire. That's the one who becomes unforgettable. Because her heart doesn't follow logic. It follows the emotional current. And the man who learns to control that current, he's the one who keeps her locked in every time. 10. The surrender switch. No matter how independent a woman may be on the outside, there's a hidden desire most won't admit out loud. She wants a man who makes her feel safe, grounded, and claimed. Not in a controlling way. Not in a possessive sense. But in a way that lets her relax into her softness, because she knows he's solid enough to carry the weight. She doesn't just want a relationship, she wants to belong. And she can only fully step into her feminine energy when she's in the presence of a man deeply rooted in his masculine. When a man leads with calm strength, through his energy, his body language, his voice, his unshakable mindset, she instinctively lets go. She stops resisting. She leans in. That surrender? That's where her deepest attraction lives. But here's the thing. A man who's uncertain, overly apologetic, or afraid to take the lead, he can't spark this feeling. Only a man who knows who he is, who sets standards and owns his presence without needing validation, only he can flip that internal switch. And when he does, she won't even know why she's drawn to him. She'll just feel it in her bones. Now that you're aware of what most men overlook, it's in your hands. Be the man who stands apart. The man who gets in her head, without saying a word. Want more insights like this? Hit that subscribe button. Stay sharp, stay conscious, and most importantly, stay ahead. Until next time.